everybody, I'm Ryan from Fireside Yankees, and in today's video, we're looking at some options the Yankees could potentially acquire on the free agent market to bolster their bullpen. Obviously, last year, the Yankees finished first in bullpen ERA at 3.34, and they're still looking to upgrade. They just signed Marcus Stroman this past week. They also signed Luke Weaver this past week. He's expected to fill out a bullpen role in long relief and potentially be the Yankees' next man up if they have a rotation injury. They have some guys to minor league level that can help supplement their bullpen as well, but they're still looking into free agency, and there are three guys that I think the Yankees are really going to target. Now, two of them they've had links to over the last week. That's Hector Neris and Wandy Peralta, and then a third guy that they've kind of been connected to, but not as intensely as a guy like Peralta and Neris, and that's Robert Stephenson. Now, we're going to get things started with Wandy Peralta because he's the guy we have the most familiarity with, and with the Yankees is a 2.82 ERA spanning across roughly 3 seasons. The Yankees acquired him very early into the 2021 season when they traded Mike Tauchman away to the San Francisco Giants, and with the Yankees, he's been extremely effective. His ERA has never been above 2.95 while with the team. He's shown an ability to get plenty of ground balls, prevent damage contact, to not give up the long ball, and ultimately, the Yankees need a left-handed reliever. They need a guy who can get lefties out. Now, does it have to always be a left-handed reliever? Not exactly, but they do want a guy who can help them get lefties out. They do have a very right-handed bullpen, and Peralta would certainly do that for them. Peralta does not get hit hard by lefties at all. He is known for preventing damage contact. He is known for doing a lot of things extremely well. And ultimately, I do believe that the New York Yankees are going to get a reliever in Peralta who's going to be durable, reliable, and just give them the type of reliever they need. A high-leverage guy, a reliable guy, in high leverage, in a safe situation, in the 8th inning, in the 7th inning. It's not like he can only get lefties out as well. He's been able to get righties out. But the big thing here is the familiarity. The Yankees know what they're getting in Wandy Peralta. He did have a weird year last year where his walk rate nearly doubled. His home run per 9 rate went up a ton. His FIP was actually 5.05. So there are some concerns that Wandy Peralta could regress next year in terms of his ERA. But with that being said, it doesn't mean that the New York Yankees shouldn't try to go out and get him, or that the New York Yankees should be shied away from even being interested. It just means that they should be wary that he had some command issues. He had some issues with sequencing, and that seemed to have a little bit of something to do with the fact that he had his season end early with a strained left tricep. Perhaps he was trying to pitch through injury. Obviously, last year as well, he ended the season on the IL before being activated for the postseason. It could be a situation where Peralta just was pitching a little bit hurt or a little bit banged up and didn't have the sharpest of command or the best feel of his pitch mix. But ultimately, he is the best left-handed reliever on the market. He is the Yankees' top free agent in terms of bullpen guys. You could argue for Keenan Middleton. I would argue Keenan Middleton's at least at the same level as Wandy Peralta, but I do believe Peralta is the guy that they're more interested in bringing back. Again, just based on the familiarity, based on the fact that he's left-handed, and the fact that the Yankees want to get a guy who can get lefties out. And that kind of segues us into Hector Neris. Now, yes, Hector Neris is a right-handed reliever, and Hector Neris, is a little bit older. He's 34 years old. He'll turn 35 next June. But he does also get left-handed batters out. They have struggled mightily against him over the past 2 seasons, and that has to do with what the Astros have been able to do with him since they acquired him. Now, with the Astros, which he spent the last 2 years with, he was a Philadelphia Philly for the entirety of his career up to that point. He has a 2.69 ERA, a 29.1% strikeout rate, a 20.2% strikeout to walk rate, a 14.2% swinging strike rate. He's done an excellent job of preventing damage contact. He's lowered his home runs per 9 by a lot. He's become much more consistent, much more effective, much more reliable in big-time situations, especially in high leverage. This past season, with a 3.82 win probability added, he was one of the top relievers in high leverage situations and in clutch moments, and he was one of the most valuable relievers because of it. Now, just like Wandy Peralta, this is a guy who can come in the 8th inning and get a hold for you, or come in the 9th inning and get a save for you. He is a reliable, versatile, he's a guy who's willing to go an extra inning if he needs to. This is the type of guy the Yankees should absolutely be all over. And as mentioned earlier, like with some of the strides that the Astros made with him, Hector Neris has made a ton of strides with his fastball. His fastballs went from a pitch that was a liability for him, a pitch that he had to kind of hide with his great splitter, to a pitch that can not only get swings and misses, but also generate damage, soft contact in the air. And the big reason for that is some increased vertical carry on his fastball. The Astros have kind of highered Neris' release point by a little bit, and as a result, he's gone from averaging roughly 15 to 16 inches of induced vertical break to closer to 17 or 18 inches of induced vertical break. And that means, yes, even though his velocity is down about a tick from his 2022 season, the increased vertical ride on the pitch has allowed him to remain highly effective, highly deceptive. He hasn't lost anything in terms of his swinging strike rate. His strikeouts did go down, his walks did go up, but ultimately the underlying metrics suggest that he is still one of the better relievers in baseball. He is due for some regression. He's not going to put up the 1.71 ERA that he put up last year, but he is expected to still be a pretty good reliever for the foreseeable future, at least for the near future. We'll see how he ages, but I really do like his profile. Another thing I love here is the durability. Spanning back to 2021, he has 215 appearances out of the bullpen. That is the third most for any reliever. He is a workhorse. He goes out and he pitches. He pitches a ton. He's rarely hurt. He's always healthy. And considering some of the guys in the Yankee bullpen, Jonathan Loaisiga's had some injury issues. Tommy Kahnle has had some injury issues. Ian Hamilton was on the injury list twice. It's not like the Yankees have a tradition, I wouldn't say a tradition, but a reputation of being a healthy, reliable, never injured bullpen or never injured pitching staff, and having Hector Neris there certainly gives you some added insurance, some added durability, some much needed reliability, and that's something that Wandy Peralta can't even provide. He is a guy that, has been hurt to end the season 2 years in a row, and Hector Neris has not been. He has been healthy. He pitches in October. He's been a guy that the Astros have been able to turn to and say, all right, you're going to pitch in about a third of our games, and we're going to expect you to be there, right? We're going to expect you to be able to pitch and contribute in the 8th, 7th, or 9th inning, depending on the situation, in high leverage, whenever there's a big spot. And I think the inability to give up home runs or the lack of home runs is certainly encouraging as well, because if you look at what you want to bring a reliever in to do, it's to oftentimes mitigate damage or prevent damage. And sometimes that means coming in with a runner on or 2 runners on. And the ability to get fly balls, soft fly balls that don't go out for home runs and swings and misses means that he's not going to give up the long ball. He's not going to clear the base with a home run. He's not going to give up a ton of contact and be subject to bad BABIP. That's something that you oftentimes see with ground ball pitchers, not fly ball pitchers, because you rarely see outfield errors. You rarely see a fly ball get dropped. You rarely see a pop-up get dropped. You do see ground balls, sneak through a hole or bounce one way or get up the middle or get booted, or then you have the throw as well that you have to make in order to complete the out. There are a lot of different things that can go wrong on a ground ball. For a fly ball, those are usually outs. If they're not home runs, if they're not driven into the gap, those are typically outs. And Hector Neris does a really good job of getting that contact in the air and not allowing damage contact. And again, that all stems back to that fastball. He does have a nasty splitter. He also features a sinker that he throws to right-handed batters, but ultimately the profile is very much reliant on the fastball splitter combination. Sinker, again, can get mixed in there. I really like the profile of Hector Neris, and I would love to see the Yankees try to go out and get him. They're reported to be potential front runners for him alongside the Texas Rangers, but with the Rangers' desperate need for bullpen help, it will be interesting to see how that bidding goes. Now, the last guy on this list is the youngest guy on this list, and that's Robert Stephenson. And Robert Stephenson features a nasty cutter that had a whiff rate nearing 60%, a chase rate above 50%, which is just ridiculous to think about. I mean, you throw a pitch out of the zone, and about 50% of the time, batters are swinging at it. That's unbelievable. The average O swing percentage or chase rate hovers around 30%. So that's a ridiculous mark for him. And then the whiff rate of nearly 60%. When batters do swing, they're mostly coming up empty. They're not putting the ball in play, not even fouling the ball off. They're swinging and missing 6 out of 10 times. That resulted in a 42.9% strikeout rate with the Tampa Bay Rays, a 5.7% walk rate, a 2.35 ERA, and a 1.78 SIERA. This was all because of the fact that the Rays were able to identify that he needed to throw more cutters or kind of change his cutter almost and make him throw it more, and he relied on that pitch plenty. It was one of the best pitches, if not the best pitch in Major League Baseball this past year, and he may command more money than Peralta or Neris, and maybe that is why the Yankees may not end up getting him, but he's younger. He gives you a guy who, again, not as durable as Neris, but right around the durability of a guy like Wandy Peralta, but gets just a ton of swings and misses, and has shown the ability in the past to be a quality reliever. He's had stretches of excellence. He's had stretches of struggling. With the Reds, it was very much up and down. In 2019, he had a 82 ERA minus at a 3.76 ERA, and again, juice ball environment. Pitching in Cincinnati, he looked like one of the better relievers in baseball. Then the year after, in 2020, he gets shelled, puts up a 9.9 ERA. The year after that, a 3.13 ERA, and you're thinking, all right, he's back. And then 2022, it's back to a 5.43 ERA. He ended the season with the Pittsburgh Pirates that year, 3.38 ERA, 36% strikeout rate. But then the year after, gets off to a slow start, 5.14 ERA, ends up in Tampa Bay. They finally make the tweaks needed. You have concerns about whether the consistency issues will rear their ugly head again, but considering that the Rays gave him a new pitch and then he clicked, I'm assuming that this is a tangible change that will allow him to be one of the better relievers in baseball for the foreseeable future. But with that being said, he's the guy that I look at on this list and say, if the Yankees can land him, if the Yankees put him in their bullpen, this is a guy who could be a closing option for them. This is a guy who could come in the ninth inning and close out games. And this is the type of guy who might be, he might be one of the best value options on the market, depending on his price tag. But with that being said, let us know what you guys think in the comment section below. Who should the Yankees sign? Who should they bring in? Should they bring in Wandy Peralta? Should they bring in Hector Neris? Should they bring in Robert Stephenson? Maybe there's a guy that you guys think they should bring in that I haven't mentioned. Let us know all in the comment section below. You guys can check out empiresportsmedia.com for all of our written content, and check out our other social media pages on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and of course this YouTube page for all of your favorite Yankee content. And with that being said, I'm Ryan from Fireside Yankees, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.